I'm quite impressed with the quality of two of the latest Byredo fragrances. First we had Rouge Chaotique, this one right here. Really great, potent fragrance with oud and fruity notes of plum in the Night Veils collection. And then right after we also had Animalique in the regular Eau de Parfum collection of this musky, powdery, sweet fragrance. Two really awesome fragrances that you can get at Fragrance Buy. And I'm going to talk to you about these two fragrances today. And there is a Fragrance Buy Boxing Day promotion that's happening today. I'm going to tell you all about it coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. Are you a fan of Byredo? I know I do get complaints sometimes that Byredo's fragrances do not last a long time. I get really great longevity with this one. I don't say it's a beast or anything. It has great lingering power, and that's what I like about it. Plus, it's musky and sweet. Animalique is so good. One of my favorite fragrances of 2023. But if you are thinking that Byredo's fragrances are not great performers, you should definitely look into the Night Veils collection, which includes the latest Rouge Chaotique, but also two of my other favorites, Tobacco Mandarin and also Vanille Antique. There's probably like 3 or 4 more in that line. I don't own them, but I have these 3 and I really enjoy them. And I think the whole entire line is great depending on which direction you want to go. But these fragrances are all sold at Fragrance Buy at discounted prices. The Night Veils collection in the 50 ml Extrait de Parfum concentration suggested retail price are $3.50, but Rouge Chaotique on Fragrance Buy is $2.35. So you're saving around $115, plus there's that additional 10% off that I'm going to talk to you about today over at Fragrance Buy happening for Boxing Day. You know, last year at Boxing Day on December 26th, 2022, I was in London and I experienced my very first Boxing Day. Man, it was a zoo in one of the stores I was at. But let me tell you the details of the Boxing Day sale over at Fragrance Buy. Let me know if you're also a shopper of that store. I have just gotten really used to their store and really enjoy their offerings and fragrances and all the discounts as well. So the Boxing Day sale starts today, December 25th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The discounts are buy one, get one at 30% off on select items using the code BOX30. So the Byredos do not qualify. I do have a link to the place where the 30% off fragrances are. So if you find a fragrance there, you buy one, you get one of those at 30% off. But otherwise, you can get 10% off in addition to the Byredo fragrances, which is also a great deal because these are already discounted selling over at Fragrance Buy, and you can take an additional 10% off. It's site-wide with 10% off with box 10. So either box 30 at the link I have in the info box or box 10 for the rest of the site-wide. You can also do stacking with free shipping over $20.23 with code BOXSHIP23. Box 30 cannot be stacked with box 10, obviously. However, both codes can be, stacked with free shipping. And the Boxing Day collection will have all in-stock products from brands like Armaf, Lattafa, Xerjoff, Parfums de Marly, Javoy, Initio, Atelier, Goldfield & Banks, Nicolai, Emeraude, and more brands. So that's a great deal happening today. I think it's great. I took advantage of the Black Friday sale when they had it. I reported on it. And Dior Homme Parfum should still be there if it's not sold out already. As of the shooting of this video, you can also buy Dior Homme Parfum, one of my favorite fragrances. And I think a lot of you bought from there as well. So let's get moving on to talking about Rouge Chaotique and Animalique. Do let me know if you've purchased from Fragrance Buy though. Put a comment down below and let me know if you're a fan of Byredo's fragrances and have you checked out these two latest ones, Animalique and Rouge Chaotique. So it's two fragrances ending with the QUE. Animalique, Rouge Chaotique. I wonder if that was planned or not. But this latest fragrance, Rouge Chaotique, is in the Night Veils collection. As I said, 50 ml Extrait de Parfum suggested retail $3.50. Over at Fragrance Buy is $2.35. This one, on the other hand, is around $175. Buy one, get the other one at 10% off if you wanted to do that, but you don't have to stick to Byredo's. But Night Vale's collection Rouge Chaotique features Oud, Papyrus, Patchouli, Plums, Praline, Leather, Saffron, Blackcurrant, and Bergamot. For me, first thing I noticed with Rouge Chaotique is the texture of the fragrance is very similar to the Tobacco Mandarin. It's got this very resinous quality. You can really experience the resin's granules, like when you're wearing them. There's a thick, dense granules quality when you're wearing it. But it's lots of oud, not animalic whatsoever. This is not funk. And even though this is called animalique, that's not animalique either. So both of these fragrances are not. And this, given the fact that it has oud, it doesn't come off animalic. It basically wears like a fruity oud. Recently featured in a fruity oud video. If you have caught my video, go catch it. It does feature this because it has a very, very prominent plummy note. And the plums in this kind of sort of very, very faintly kind of, you know, reach to like acting a bit boozy, but not quite. Because plums kind of do that for me for some reason in fragrances. And I like that. And I enjoy plums in fragrances because plums as a fruit doesn't go ultra fruity like, you know, strawberries or cherries or things like that. They're the more masculine fruit, I should say, because they act like that. But I do enjoy plums in fragrances. They make fragrances smell really great, adding this very interesting fruitiness to the fragrance, but keeping its all, you know, the other notes intact. Like for this case, we have the oud, the papyrus, the patchouli. Papyrus is with its very distinct smell. You can totally smell it in this one. It's here, it's prominent. So it's mostly like these very woody notes, oud, papyrus, patchouli. Then you've got that kind of softening up with the plums, the fruitiness. And then there are some gourmand notes in here. There's definitely some gourmand touches of the praline, a little chocolatey, sweet, a bit caramelly or something. And then we also have leather in this. The leather does come out, does shine on skin. And then after that, we have some faint citrusy touches as well, but it does get fruity. And I didn't mention the blackcurrant in this, and I think the blackcurrant contributes to making the plums even further fruity in this fragrance. But in the end, it's not like a fruit bomb. It's not that kind of a fragrance. Again, plums as a fruit is not very distinct fruitiness. It's there to give it that kind of soft fruity touch, but mostly we're talking about the very woody, earthy notes of the oud, papyrus, and patchouli here, along with the leather, and then of course that gourmandish touch of the praline. This has great longevity. All the fragrances in this collection do. It has great staying power. And again, I wouldn't say these are room fillers. It's not like followed by kerosene. It's strong, it's potent, it has great longevity, but this is not going to stay in a room and stay there forever, which in most cases we don't want that kind of a fragrance. We want to enjoy and move on from one to the other. At least some of us do. But for this kind of a fragrance from Byredo, when I hear over and over again how Byredo's fragrances do not last, this one has great staying power. The other thing I should say is when it's compared to Animalique, when Rouge Chaotique is compared to Animalique, then you'll notice the robustness of Rouge Chaotique versus Animalique. Whereas Animalique also has great lingering power, but when you're wearing them side by side, you can feel the thickness and the density, or the denseness and the dense, you know, resins, the quality in here compared to the more ethereal quality of Animalique. So for sure, the Night Vale's collection is much more robust, much more intense, much more beefy. But in this case, we're dealing with a very fruity oud. And I like this idea of fruity ouds. That was the reason why I did a fruity oud video. If you haven't caught that video, go catch it. It does feature Rouge Chaotique. I think it's a great release from this house. Wonderful offering. Very unique. Whereas we've always seen oud and rose over and over and over again. This is kind of a breath of fresh air dealing with oud and plums. In this case, a fruity oud fragrance. So this is Rouge Chaotique. Check it out. Remember, it is over at FragranceBuy. I have it linked in the info box. Man, they have a lot of great Byredo fragrances there, and most of them are like the Night Vale's collection are at least $115 off suggested retail price. So if you're in the market for these fragrances, rather than going to places like Neiman's or something where everything is suggested retail, you can go here and get these fragrances from FragranceBuy and already be saving $115. And then if you buy another fragrance, you get an additional discount of 10%. Or if you go to that page where I have it linked in the info box, you can get an additional 30% off. All right, and next we've got Animalique, the second release from Byredo. I don't know, they might have had more releases in 2023 because they do crank out quite a bit of them, but I haven't remembered anything else launching from this brand, Byredo. But both of them are very exciting. In fact, when I first sampled Animalique, it was in the south of France at a perfume shop. I walked in and I forgot. I didn't even know that they were launching this. I didn't even know they were launching Animalique. And it was right there displayed on full view. And what I did was go right to Animalique because I thought the name was great. And I thought I was going to get something very animalic. And it turned out to be something very powdery and musky, that not animalic whatsoever, but very, very enjoyable. So Animalique came out earlier this year around September. 100 ml eau de parfum. Suggested retail is $2.90, but over at Fragrance Buy it is $176. So you're saving another $115 approximately. So if you're buying two of the white bottle, the eau de parfums, you can get them for approximately $176 and take the 10% off. Or if you do one of the other fragrances in the link, it's 30% off. And then don't forget the free shipping as well. But this Animalique features suede leather, violet, mimosa, amber, sandalwood, tobacco, bergamot, and lemons. And boy, I have to say, those of you that love powdery fragrances, this is a great powdery fragrance. But there's this very interesting sweetness that is kind of addicting, almost like candy-like in here. And I'm looking at the notes. I don't know where the sweetness is coming from. Maybe it's the violets, because violets do kind of end up being like violet candy. And violets are typically found in a lot of Byredo fragrances. It's pretty much, I consider it their DNA. Over and over again, I see violets come up. But in this case, the violet in this is super delicious, almost candy-like against all the powdery touches, and then eventually the leather, the suede leather. And it's a very soft, very, very nice to the touch kind of leather. It sits very smooth, and I like that about this leather. It's not animalic whatsoever, and I don't get why they call it Animalique. I think it's just a catchy name. They use it here. But if you are a wearer of this fragrance, or if you wear Animalique, do you get any animalic touches? I don't. But it's powdery for sure, lots of it. Violets contribute to the powdery touches. Mimosa a little bit as well. Maybe it's the mimosa and violets together combining to give you that kind of candy-like quality, because mimosa in the end is a bit sweet, it's a bit almondy, lightly almondy, but very, very powdery yellow floral note. But what a great fragrance. Like I said, this is definitely one of my favorites of the whole 2023. I absolutely love this one. I can't stop wearing it. It sprays on great. It smells really, really great. It's super sexy, very, very musky, leathery, powdery. I love it. I really love Animalique, and it's one of my favorite releases. So Animalique is the second fragrance from the Byredo line that launched this year, but both of them launched towards the latter part of the year. And I need to go back to my notes to see what else Byredo launched, but I can't recall anything else launching. Do let me know if you're a fan of Byredo. Do let me know if you've tried Rouge Chaotique and Animalique. Are you a fan of these fragrances? And also, if you don't like Byredo, what is it about Byredo you don't like? Put a comment down below so I can find out. We actually have multiple retailers selling Byredo here in San Francisco: Saks, Neiman's, ZGO Perfumery, and also if you go to Fillmore Street here in San Francisco, you can go to an actual physical Byredo boutique that's been there for 2 years. But remember, all of them are selling fragrances for suggested retail, and here on Fragrance Buy they are discounted, which is a great deal, because Animalique is $176, but if you walked into those stores, it's $290. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Happy holidays, happy Christmas, happy Boxing Day, I should say. Yeah, take advantage of that deal, and let me know what your thoughts are on the fragrances of Byredo. Put a comment down below so I can find out. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.